I just want to start by saying thank you so much for taking the time out to sit down and chat with me. I suppose we should start right at the beginning. How did you first discover drag? How did your love of that art form begin?
Um, I would probably say it was like I've always watched like RuPaul's Drag Race and
Hmm.
stuff, every gay kid, Um, but it was like during lockdown when like I properly started watching it, and I was like, oh, I'm bored, so I bought some makeup and shocking. Oh well, but then that's how we got into it, and we
Hmm.
started to like branch out in terms of drag. Like, you have those girls who are like, oh my god, I love drag queens, but they're like only Ru girls. Like, I'm
Yeah.
such a fan of drag. Like, I was going through every drag queen that I could find. I was like, yes, oh my god, work, sister. And I just fell in love with it.
Hmm.
Like, that's just how it came about.
And how did it go from then sort of trying around buying some makeup to it being something you do sort of more full time?
Well, I mean, yeah, I bought makeup. We don't talk about the first few months. Um, but yeah, I bought it, and then like obviously I was going out in that. Don't tell anyone underage. Shh. Um, but yeah, I started going out, and then I went obviously to like the drag bars, like Mary's, main stage, Golden, stuff like that. And I just saw like these drag queens, like I saw Kitty, I saw like Amber, and all the people like that, and I was just like, oh my god, like it's a real life drag queen in front of me. You're not on TV, and you look busted as fuck. But but no, they were just I just fell in love with it then, and then obviously I got really close with my drag mother, Miss Gigi Spat.
Hmm.
Um, and she like introduced me more to like actually pursuing drag. I remember watching her perform at Pride Cymru, like on the community stage or whatever it was. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to go into that. Like, and that
Hmm.
was the first time me and Gigi got close. Obviously, then she, like helped me with drag and that and all stuff like that. And then it just
Hmm.
went from there.
So where did the name come about then, Venus Flytrap? How did that come to be?
Jesus. Um, I've had a few names in the past. When I first started drag, I was like, oh, what name should I was like, when I first started drag, I wanted to be a Ru girl, cunty girl. Yeah, can I say that? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cunty girl. Like hair whips, splits, death drops, lip syncing. So I was like, oh, what's a cunty name? What's a cunty name? And I started off with like, I can't even remember what it was, like crystallize or something, like crystal lies, like
Okay.
um, and I was like, no, I don't really like it. And then I was in my day job work,
Hmm.
and one of my work friends was like, oh my god, look at her, she's coming looking like a right frizz bomb. And I was like, oh my god, that's a sickening name though. I was like, that's a cute name. So that's what I started off as, called frizz bomb. Yeah, and it just didn't stick. And I remember when Gigi done for her birthday last year, she done a night of 1,000 GGs. So
Hmm.
we all went out drag and stuff. And she was like, what spot are you? And I was like, oh, I'll just stick with Frisbee. I was like, I want to be Frisbee, I want to be Frisbee. And then yeah, it just didn't work.
Hmm.
So I was like, I need to find a new name. I need to find a new name. And then I was talking with one of my wig stylists I still use to this day. They're called Alex, and they're from Brighton.
Hmm.
Sickening Queen, lovely. We were talking just about wigs and stuff, and like all stuff like that. And she was like, "Oh, I want to do a photo shoot, but I want to do it like Venus style, like
Hmm.
like the hair covering
Yeah.
the boobs and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, Venus style, that's a cute name." I was like,
Hmm.
so I had Venus style then. It's my second name for quite a while. Um, and then it just did. I was just like, it just doesn't fit my vibe now, because that's after Venus style died, and I became Venus Flytrap. That's when like I see like my drag like evolved.
Hmm.
That's when like I got nicer wigs, nicer outfits. I started doing proper shows, started singing, comedy, and all stuff like that. And I was just like, Venus style just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Like it's a good name, but like I was like, I need something camper, I need something. And I was like Venus. I was like, and I remember seeing in a shop I was like, oh my God, is that a Venus Flytrap? I was like, Venus
There we are.
Flytrap. There we go. I got it now. And I remember Gigi saying to me, you can't fucking keep changing it again now. This is the last time. And some of my friends called me Venus insert last name because I've changed it too much, apparently. But we're sticking with Flytrap. We're sticking with Flytrap.
So you've mentioned obviously Gigi Spot and your connection. So for those who don't know, what is a drag mother and what's their role?
So Gigi Spot, she is an icon. Like, I'm sorry, she is so just like her own entity, and she's so amazing. But in general, like, a drag mother is just someone who, I guess it is technically more of like an American thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really have it over here, but I still call her my drag mom. But they just help you evolve. They, if they're like, right, I liked what you've done here, you can improve here and all stuff like that. And like, that's what she's done to me. Like, Gigi can be very blunt.
Okay.
Blunt's the wrong word, not blunt, but like, she can like just say to you, like, that was shit.
Yeah.
And like, I know it's not from like a harsh place. I'm like, no, she's trying to make me better. But like, if you were watching her talk to me, you'd probably think, wow, what a cunt.
Yeah.
Which is. But still. But no, like, she's helped me so much. She's helped me with my show in general. She's helped me with like singing and telling me, oh, you need to take this down. You need to don't sing that song ever again. You were awful. You sounded really good. She helped me with comedy. She helped me with timing, and obviously, like, I did Etta's drag marathon, and she couldn't really help me because obviously she was like judging, but like she was like, oh, just think about this, think about that, give me little bit. But she is an idol, and I'm so glad to have her, and I don't think I would be the queen I am now without her.
Oh, that's really nice. So where I kind of first met you was obviously through you DJing at Pulse. So how did you get into DJing? How did that start?
So I was a shop girl in Mary's for I want to say like 2 or 3 months. And 3 for 5, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And after every shift, because I used to finish at like 1 a.m. I think, I would go over to King's, and be like, because I was quite close with Nick Knockers anyway.
Yeah.
Because like I'd always go out in drag, and she'd always be like, oh, hey girl, and we just got really close. She helped me with Drag Idol and stuff. And yeah, we just got really close. So I'd go there and I'd go say hi to Nick, and Nick would invite me in the DJ booth. And then Nick kind of like taught me how to use the it's not hard, but like how to use it. And like the main thing that she told me was like how to read a room, like oh, what song's next, what does this work, and stuff like that. And when you're in the crowd, I remember like going out, you don't really think about that much. You're probably like, oh, it's DJing, it's so easy. Like, it is easy, but then also like it is hard at the same time. Like, it's not like I'm on the decks, stuff like that. I can't be bothered with that. But like, I gotta think, what song's gonna work? I get requests all day, like all night. They're like, oh, do I play that song? Is it gonna go down well? Are we like building it up? Are we taking it down? Like, there is a lot that goes into this. So I like to call Nick Knockers like my DJ mum. And then obviously, once I was good enough, in her eyes, like, I'd done a night by myself, and she was like, yeah, happy. I became like the cover queen. So when everyone needs cover, I stand in.
So what is it like then, obviously DJing, having all that going through your brain, but also I suppose you're looking out for, people, things that are happening, and communicating with the staff. What is it like standing in that booth kind of doing that?
I mean, I love the Kings compared to the Pulse. Like, I love doing both, but like the Kings, I feel like I'm in the room because it's like involved everyone, and like, I'm doing my thing, and I put a song on, and after I put a song on, I always go to the side and like look out at the crowd and see what's happening, see if there's any fights or anything that needs happening. And also the bar is right by there, so I can just wave at them and they know. Again. But yeah, it is like, it was overwhelming at the start. Like, doing a full night by myself, I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, I've used so many of my good songs, and it's only 2 hours in. Like, I've got 5 left. Like, it is strategic. Like, you've got to be like, I'm not going to play that song yet because you don't need it. Like, you've got to build stuff. Because I remember my first night, I played like all the hard hitter songs like that everyone loves back, like one after the other, one after the other. And by the end of the night, I was just playing like a random song that nobody had ever heard because I don't have anything left. But yeah, as I've done it more and stuff, it just becomes easier, just second nature.
And then obviously quite uniquely, when I've been at Pulse, you've grabbed the mic at certain points and done a song.
Yeah,
not something we've seen from the normal DJs who normally frequent a Pulse. So was that an idea that you come up with, or have you seen that done before?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, I was just bored behind the booth. So I was like, oh, I'm bored. There's a microphone there. And with Pulse, because Pulse is like, you're literally tucked away, I like to come out and like, interact with everyone and stuff. And I was like, oh, I might as well just like, because originally I was like, oh, I was just going to go around with the mic and be like, I love, blah, 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 blah. But then I just started singing and everyone was like, the first time I did it, I was like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So I don't do it all the time. Like, if I'm super bored, I'm like, right, let's do a song. Come on. But yeah, technically, I'm not allowed. So it's not that I'm not allowed, but like, I'm being booked to be a DJ, not a cabaret queen, and I. But I do love every now and again. It's just something different. Like, you don't. Obviously, when Jolene does like a Wednesday, she goes over to the Pulse and does a show after. But like, you don't really see anything like that in Kings anymore. Like, it used to be so much. Like, it's literally just like a bar with DJing, and now. So I was like, oh, well, let's just add something different. And like, if the audience don't feel it, I don't bother. But if they're feeling it, I go on and do it all.
So you mentioned Etta's Drag Marathon previously. So how did you learn about Etta's Drag Marathon?
So I started drag like near the end of July last year. Yeah. And obviously Etta's was done films, it's the one filmed. Happened in like October, November last year. So as I was going out and stuff, I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh, I could apply for that. But I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to do that because I don't think I'm ready. So that's why I didn't do it. But I learned about it and stuff like that. And then obviously Gigi's like home bar is main stage in that. And I was going to Sunday Fun Days in main stage with the three pretty much Sunday. So obviously I was like, oh, is Etta's season 2 happening? Blah, blah, blah. And they were like, yeah, it's all happening. So I was like, right, okay, gotcha. That's what I'm going to do. And I literally remembered it coming out and I was like, yes, go on then, I'll apply. Go on, pull my leg.
But you did very well. So what was the experience of competing like?
It was, so like, I done Drag Idol earlier this year. And obviously I didn't expect it to be like that, but I kind of did. But like Drag Idol was just like a one night thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was different doing it weekly. And luckily for me, like, but by the time we'd done Etta, I'd done a few shows and I'd done a few gigs here and there. So I gained some confidence and knew where my strengths lied and stuff. So I found it a bit easier on that part. But obviously, like, I can't remember how many weeks it was. It was something like 10 weeks. And by the end, I was like, I just can't be bothered anymore. Like, 10 weeks of just doing this. Like, it was challenging. And I'm used to being in a competition setting. Like, I have a background in sport and stuff.
Right, okay.
So I'm used to, like, competing and stuff like that. So I'm used to being under high pressure. So that didn't bother me. But then I look back and I'm like, I probably spent so much money on outfits because I said to myself, I was like, I want a custom every single week.
Wow.
I was like, I want to be that girl. I want to be the runway girl, even though they didn't do runways, but I want to be the runway girl. We had a custom every single week. And luckily I did. With Joseph designing for me, my partner designing for me, stuff like that. So I think I am proud of what I've done, but I look back and I was like, I probably spent like so much money.
Mm.
Was it worth it? Yeah, like I didn't win. I
Mm.
probably should have won. Um, but
Mm.
it was worth it in the end, and I got nice new outfits now
Oh,
to wear.
amazing. So, was there any challenges that surprised you, things that you were good at that you didn't know about going into the marathon?
Um, I mean, yes and no. Like there was some challenges when I was like, oh yeah, I'll smash that
Mm.
easily. I would say that probably the only thing. So I'm not a big Halloween fan.
Okay.
Like I don't really like. I don't mind it, but I don't really like. I don't vibe with
Yeah.
it. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
not like, oh my God, Halloween is Halloween. Like I don't really care. So when Halloween, I wasn't gonna do Halloween this year. I wasn't gonna bother.
Mm.
And obviously Etta's landed on Halloween, and they were like, "We're doing a Halloween week," and I was like, "Oh, great!" So I'm gonna have to do it. But that was probably the week that I felt least confident.
Mm.
I definitely felt least confident going into the Halloween week, but I won that week, so I
Yeah.
guess all right. I was just like, I'm not really into gore. I'm not really into stuff like that.
Mm.
I like comedy and stuff, so I made it
Yeah.
comedic, which obviously
Mm.
turned out right. But yeah, I would say that was definitely the week that I felt least confident. The rest of them, I felt decently confident
Yeah.
in all the challenges. I wouldn't say there was a challenge that I was like, oh God. Well, actually, little insider tea. So we actually missed a week because the finale was brought forward because of stuff
Yeah.
outside the show. So there was going to be one more week that we had to do, and it was going to be a workout routine week.
Okay.
So they tried to go off like Drag Race and stuff. You remember
Yeah.
like season 3 when they did the workout stuff? It was kind of like that. They were like, you have 5 minutes. You got to teach us a workout. You got to teach it to the audience. You got to try and get 2 people in the audience to do the workout with you and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I'm like, how am I going to make that entertaining?
Yeah.
Like, if I was watching it, I'm just going to be so bored. Like, it was like one of the weeks was the Miss Kitty Awards, which I won. But I got a trophy. But yeah.
Ooh.
But I could see in the audience, and I was sitting there, like standing there, like it was just quite boring because there wasn't much to it. Like you just accepted an award, and then it was a little interview stage. Like it
Mm.
was too trying to be Drag Race. Then, like there
Right.
was no, like we're not on TV. We're in a bar. Like
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Totally.
They want songs, they want to laugh, they want stuff like that. And I think the workout week would have probably have gone down like that, and it
Mm.
probably would have been a bit boring. So I'm glad we didn't do that. But yeah, I every other week
Yeah.
I was pretty confident going into it. I always had a concept.
Mm. Oh, amazing. So the next thing I sort of saw you at was Festive Frolics. So how did that event go for you?
Yeah, so obviously Delphi
Mhm.
Productions, love them. My first Delphi production show was one of the things they do. It's like a debut, delightful
Mhm.
debuts. So I was part of the first delightful debuts. Um, Lily asked me because we were both at like a drag show, like a Club Kids drag show that they've
Mhm.
done, and I was called up on stage to lip sync in that with a horror and stuff like that. And I was called up on stage and I lip sync for my life. And she was like, "Oh my god, work, blah 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 blah." So she asked me, she was like, "Oh, I'm doing like this debut show for new drag artists. Would you want to be a part of it?" And I was like, "Yes, of course, you know." And then yeah, I just built like a connection with them,
Mm.
like me and my partner, who I actually met at Delightful Debuts.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, we just got really close in that, and I love them so much. Like they are just nice people, and I always like helping them out. Like,
Mm.
is it like a really like a proper drag cabaret gig? No. Is it the most paid? No. But at the end of the day,
Mm.
it's I do love them, and I'm always there to help them and stuff like that. So yeah, and they were like, I done that Delightful Debuts, and then I done some other cabaret shows
Yeah.
here, there, and everywhere. And I was always like telling them, I was like, oh, you know, if I do, you don't have to book me to perform. I don't mind hosting.
Yeah.
Because like Lily always used to host, and I was like, you host every show, like it can get boring, and like you,
Yeah.
like if you when you host, you only get to really do one performance of
Yeah.
burlesque or burlesque because you got to do one performance. I was like, why don't you let like I'll host? I
Yeah.
don't need to change costume. I can stay in my costume, and then you can do as many acts as you want. And she was like, oh, that's a good idea. So then they booked me for Festive Frolics. And yeah, it was really fun. I loved it. I was like, oh, I want to do at least 4 songs. Like, I got to do 4 songs. I was like, I'll bring out all my comedy tricks and I'll bring out all my jokes. But yeah, it was just really fun.
And obviously, I reviewed that production, and I'll put the link sort of below so people can scroll down and click away. But obviously, it was fantastic. Was that your? Have you hosted events before?
Yeah, like when you're like a drag queen, you get booked to do so much, and like hosting is like one of them. Like I've hosted so many different events. I hosted Roast Pride, if you remember, in the day, and I performed in the night. And like when you're doing a show in general, half of it is basically hosting. Like you sing a song, you speak to the crowd, tell a joke, blah blah blah, and it's just that really. I just saw it as right. Song, joke, bring an act on, joke, bring an act on, song. Like that's all it is, and it's just being likable. So I think I did all right.
I loved it. I thought it was great. During that performance, we got to see a rendition of the iconic "Let It Go" theme. How did you come up with that? What was it like bringing that to stage?
So the first time I've always been a Disney fan. I'll just say first. So I was like, oh, what's a good song? What's a good Disney song that everyone knows, get everyone on their feet? And I was like, oh, Let It Go, come on, like Let It Go. And the first time I just sang it by itself, and it didn't like it. Everyone was singing it, and I was like, oh my god, blah blah blah. And I remember walking down like in Tesco, I think it was, and I just saw like spray snow, and I was like, oh my god. Oh no, sorry. I didn't do that. That was after. The first time I done it with deodorant. Right. And I was like, oh my God. It just came to me, like random ideas just come to me. I was like, oh my God, wouldn't it be camp if someone was just like behind me whilst I sing Let It Go, and it's like magic.
Yeah.
And the first time I'd done it was in Sheffield. I'd done it at a brunch I'd done in Sheffield early this year. And it went down really well, and I was like, oh my god, you know, this is so camp, but I just kept doing it. And I remember I think it was around June time when I was on the door for Hey Mary, and they were like, oh, someone's pulled out, have you got anything that you can do, like we'll give you a chance to perform in that. And I was like, yes, you know, I think they done it in June, and they done like a Christmas theme for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why it was Christmas in the middle of the year, but they were got anything Christmassy, and I was like, I mean, I gotta Let It Go. That's like, you know, snow, innit? So they asked me to perform, and I my partner Marmalade, love her, and she was behind me, and I was like, right, basically, you got to try and stay behind me so they don't see you. And every time I put my hand out, wherever my hand goes, you just got to spray the deodorant. And this was the first time that I'd done it with 2 deodorants. And this is the first time I done during the instrumental bit. I went, oh, special effects, go wild.
Yeah.
So and I remember doing it, and it went down so well, and everyone loved it. Even Gordon from Mary's was like, that was so good. And I was like, oh my God, like, you know, thank you. And I just remember I also have the trauma of so much deodorant being sprayed that none of us could breathe. And I was like, I've got to change this. I was like, I've got to change it. And I was like, I can't keep doing deodorant. It's just not going to work. And then I was walking in Tesco, and I saw the spray snow. And I was like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that first? I was like, that's literally so smart. I was like, snow, blah, blah, blah. And then I just kept doing it. I literally done it at basically every gig that I done at the end with the spray snow. I'd always try and have someone behind me. And then I've just like, I kind of built up like a choreography of it now. Like I know exactly what to do and like where to go. And even when like I see other people sing it, I'm still there going like this, like but I'm just like, it's just like second nature now. And it always goes down well. And I think now I've got it like almost mastered, like with the special effects go wild and I do a little dance and that. And I just, it just always, the audience seem to love it. So I love it as well.
Oh, amazing. Right. So what advice would you have for sort of new drag performers or baby queens looking to get into sort of performing?
My advice would be, one, be yourself. Two, don't be a cunt and don't think that, you know, you're amazing. You're 1 month in and you're the best. Like that, you know, you can be confident. Please be confident. Be confident in yourself, but always take advice. Always take criticism. Always take it in and build on it, because that's what I done. And everything that was said to me, oh, your eyebrows are a bit misshapen. Oh, you know, you need to learn how to sing in a higher key. Blah blah blah. And like, you just don't take it as, oh, fuck you then, whatever. No, take it, build on it, and show them that you can do it. And when the progression, and that's like where I've come now. And like, I've been doing drag just over a year, and you know, I'm here now. So be yourself. Please be yourself, but don't be a cunt. Don't be cocky. Because if you start being cocky, you're not going to get in with bars, and you're not going to get in with the drag scene and that, because they just, you know, they don't. They won't let you in if they're like, no, bitch, you're too cocky. Like, fuck off. Oh, I don't know. You're too bitchy. Like, you can't. Like, at the end of the day, you're going into bars with queens who have been doing this for 20 plus years. Like, listen to them. They know what they're on about. If you want to make a living out of it, or even if it's a second job, you can still make a lot of money out of it. But you've got to listen to queens and listen to your friends and listen to all stuff like that. Like, you know, people tell me that I'm a different person in drag and I'm a bit bitchy, and I was like, yeah, but that's just the character I put on. Like, I always take any criticism. I'm always there after a show, like, oh, was it all right? Was it okay? Like, listening to videos of me and like criticizing myself and that. But yeah, just be yourself. Don't be a cunt, and work hard. If you want something, take it. If you want to get I would say the first couple of gigs I only got because I asked for them. If you don't ask, you don't get. Like, no one's going to hand you this on a plate. Like, at the end of the day, there's so many drag queens. You're just another baby queen. What makes you different? You're asking. You've got to be respectful. You've got to be kind. You've got to be, you know, there's so many things that I would love to say. Like, I've always wanted a drag tilt. I want a little drag baby. But yeah, I just be yourself. Don't be a cunt. I think are my main things, and just work hard.
So what's the dream for Venus then? Where do you see Venus heading in the future?
I don't like to think too much into the future. I like to go like year by year. So like in this year now, I just want to get, you know, more gigs, more stuff, like maybe hopefully get a residency somewhere. Like whether that's in Cardiff or not, I just want a residency somewhere. You know, main stage, Madame Jojo's, places like that I love performing at. I also want to work on my outfits and my hair. I want to be like the fashion queen of Cardiff, because you know, there's not much competition. But no, I want to be like, I want everyone's jaws to drop when I come out on stage. Like, do you know what I mean? So I want to work on my outfits, my hair, and my gigs. And, you know, will I apply to Drag Race next year? Most likely. Will I get on? Well, they have a letter Welsh Queen 4 years, so maybe not. But I would say Drag Race is definitely up there, maybe.
Oh. So
maybe, if I can be bothered.
So where can people stay up to date with you and what you get up to and those goals?
So follow me on Instagram at Venus_Flytrap_drag. Follow me on Facebook, Venus Flytrap. That's it really, I think. Yeah, and everything's on my Instagram, all my gigs. I always do like a month by month where you can find me, and I'll update you on where I am and stuff. So
I'll put the links in the description, so again people can just scroll down and click away.
yes.
But I want to end the same way I started, by just saying thank you so much for sitting down.
Of course, thank you for having me.
And I wish you all the best. So thank you very much.
Thank you, baby.
Bye.